You are about to hear Arsenic and Old Lace by Joseph Kesselring, narrated by Joseph Kent. Copyright 2018 BN Publishing. Online at bnpublishing.com. Act 1. Time, late afternoon, September, present. Place, the living room of the old Brewster home in Brooklyn, New York. It is just as Victorian as the two sisters, Abby and Martha Brewster, who occupy the house with their nephew Teddy. There's a staircase leading to the upper floor, broken by a landing with a window looking out on the front porch. At the top of the stairs, a balcony with a door leading to bedrooms and an archway beyond which are stairs to the top floor. There is a large window, below which is a long window seat. There is a door that leads to the cellar, another to the left of it that leads to the kitchen, and at right, the main door of the house, which opens onto the porch. When the curtain rises, Abby Brewster, a plump little darling in her late 60s, is presiding at the tea table. The table is lighted by candles. Seated in an armchair at her left is the Reverend Dr. Harper, and on her right, standing, her nephew Teddy, whose costume includes a frock coat and pince-nez attached to a black ribbon. Teddy is in his 40s and has a large black mustache, and his manner and makeup suggest Theodore Roosevelt. "Yes, indeed, my sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. It's really wonderful, Dr. Harper. In only 2 short years, you've taken on the spirit of Brooklyn." "That's very gratifying, Miss Brewster." "You see, living here next to the church all our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go. The spirit of Brooklyn, we always say, is friendliness, and your sermons are not so much sermons as friendly talks." "Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons, or have I met him yet?" "No, dear, not yet. Are the biscuits good?" "Bully!" "Won't you have another biscuit, Dr. Harper?" "Oh, no, I'm afraid I'll have no appetite for dinner now. I always eat too many of your biscuits just to taste that lovely jam." "But you haven't tried the quince. We always put a little apple in with it to take the tartness out." "No, thank you." "We'll send you over a jar." No, you keep it here so I can be sure of having your biscuits with it." "I do hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again. I mean, with this war trouble, it may not be very charitable of me, but I've almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler isn't a Christian." If only Europe were on another planet. "Europe, sir?" "Yes, Teddy." "Point your gun the other way." "Gun?" "Teddy." "To the west. There's your danger. There's your enemy. Japan." "Why, yes, of course." "Teddy." "No, Aunt Abby, not so much talk about Europe and more about the canal." "Well, let's not talk about war. Will you have another cup of tea, dear?" "No, thank you, Aunt Abby." "Dr. Harper?" No, thank you. I must admit, Miss Abby, that war and violence seem far removed from these surroundings." "It is peaceful here, isn't it?" "Yes, peaceful. The virtues of another day, they're all here in this house. The gentle virtues that went out with candlelight and good manners and low taxes." "It's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's just as it was when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it, except for the electricity, and we used it as little as possible. It was Mortimer who persuaded us to put it in." Yes, I can understand that. Your nephew Mortimer seems to live only by electric light." "The poor boy has to work so late. I understand he's taking Elaine with him to the theater again tonight. Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be here a little later." "Delighted." "We're so happy it's Elaine Mortimer takes it to the theater with him." "Well, it's a new experience for me to wait up until 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be brought home." "Oh, Dr. Harper, I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer." "Well?" "We'd feel so guilty if you did, Sister Martha and I. I mean, it was here in our home that your daughter met Mortimer." "Of course, Miss Abby, and so I'll say immediately that I believe Mortimer himself to be quite a worthy gentleman. But I must also admit that I have watched the growing intimacy between him and my daughter with some trepidation, for one reason, Miss Abby." "You mean
Sample complete. Ready to continue?